I am here with a group of 5 people to whom I owe more than I can say. And I don't know if we're going to use this or not. We just decided to do this experimentally. We get together every year, and I wanted to talk a little bit about friendship and spiritual life. So let's start with just do names first.
Kevin Meyer.
I'm Mark Nelson.
Chuck Bergstrom.
Dr. Chuck Bergstrom.
Tom Nicholas.
And we're walking together through Renovation of the Heart. This is what Dallas says in a chapter called The Children of Light in the Light of the World. What is gained by human history? He says the significance of human life upon the earth must either be very small or very great. Very small from the strictly natural point of view. If we look at the earth, you know what, I can't read this. Kevin, can I borrow your glasses?
Sure you can. You want to start over?
No. Oh, these are cool glasses. Kevin has a fashion sense. If we represent Earth's history on a 24-hour clock from midnight to midnight, then according to the evolutionary story, our remotest human ancestors appeared at 1159. What we call the civilization of the last several thousand years is represented as a pop of a flashbulb at midnight. By any account, from the merely scientific point of view, the Earth will not support human society for any long period of time in cosmic terms. And if the future of the Earth's surface resembles its astonishing past, a few thousand more years at most. God's purposes for human history, as set forth in the Bible, are of course quite another matter. According to the biblical picture, the function of human history is to bring forth an immense community of people from every nation and tribe and tongue and people, as it says in the 14th chapter of Revelation, who will be kingdoms of priests under God, and who for some period of time in the future will actually govern the earth under him. They will also beyond that reign with him in the eternal future of the cosmos forever and ever. So we got that going for us.
Can I have those back?
Please.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, otherwise I would keep them.
Yes, you would.
And thinking about what God is up to as the creation of community, leases this question of how do we depend on each other? What kind of life is possible when we are together? So I wanted you to meet my friends and hear a tiny little bit of our story and what that means to us, and invite you to think about the people in your life, the friends, the children of the light, and what might ways be that you make space in your life, in your schedule, for that kind of community, for those kind of friendships. Because one of the odd things about us is, although time passes very quickly, we can just go on autopilot and never actually make space for people that we can love and who love us. So I have known these guys. We have known each other since we were 18 years old, which is many years ago now, in some cases even longer than that. And I'll tell you one thing for me that friendship does. We meet every year for the better part of a week. And we've done it in different parts of the country. That started 25 years ago when I was going through a very difficult time, very deep depression. It was very hard for Nance and I to navigate, so it was some stuff that I needed somebody else to process with. And Chuck, who lives on the other side of the country, said, get your butt out here to Georgia. And so I did. And it was so healing because I felt like, oh, there's somebody who loves me and who loves me no matter what. And I think as I get older, you know, the soul is what integrates us all together. Part of why this means so much to me and probably to others is jobs come and go, people come and go, titles come and go. But we knew each other when we were 18 years old, so it doesn't matter. Yeah. And I know that I'm loved here. And so there's a safety and security that I get from this little fellowship that I don't get elsewhere. Kev?
Yeah, you asked that question, Kenneth. So my immediate word that came to me was perspective. This idea that, you know, I know me, but I don't always see me kind of thing. And so out of that perspective is this idea of being known. I mean, I'm known by you guys, spent time with you over the years. Some of you I've known since middle school. So it's not only that you know me, you actually know my family that I came from. And there's something rich and really good about that because you're able to kind of in some ways see into me and see things about me that I just don't maybe myself catch. And So that's part of it. The other thing I just is in thinking about it is you have to be intentional. And so for us, let's face it, it wasn't until our kids were a little older that we were able to actually do this on a yearly basis. So that was helpful. The other thing on that is not only being intentional, it's fun. Every year you kind of go, I just look forward to this because I'm going to be with some people who really know me in my high times, in who knows what year you might be in a low time or whatever it is. That's been a gift.
And our wives love it when we come back and tell them the kind of jokes.
Yes,
that we
my
laughed at.
my wife.
Their appreciation for our level of wit.
Yeah.
It's a gift to them.
It is.
Almost even more than us.
But for some reason, my wife doesn't agree with that. She also says, leave your junior high humor there and don't bring it back. But anyway.
Yeah. Mark?
Oh, gosh. Yeah. I was the last one actually to join the group. You guys had been doing this for a few years, and then when I moved back to the U.S. in 2006, John invited me to join, and immediately it became something I wanted to continue to do. Immediately I made a commitment with myself that I would do this every year. I would make it happen, find a way to do it. Yes, it has become really one of the high points of my whole year. And so in addition to the laughter and some which is really very highbrow.
You can tell, but you're...
Yeah. And the fashion sense, the love, the acceptance, and really, Kevin, I totally agree with you. Your friends know things about you that you could not possibly know. And they can tell you things about you that you would not know otherwise. I sometimes go through phases when my own interior life is not particularly vivid and transparent to me. And so in those seasons when there are other people who can tell me how I'm doing, that's really important.
For me, I would say that the friendship, it's been permission to be myself, and at the same time encouragement to be a better self. And that's what this group does for me. They love me for for the person I am, and they accept that, but they also have been just encouragement to say, that's great, now keep growing and become a better you. So it's a magnificent group. I just want to say quickly, I met Kevin when he was in junior high, and he actually saved my life in a back stairwell of Lincoln Junior High School in Rockford, Illinois. When a real bully tried to beat me up, and I was a little bit quick. I ducked when this guy swung at me, and he hit Kevin, and Kevin was a hockey player. And Kevin just beat the stew out of this guy, and then felt so bad about his violence that he decided to go into the pastorate and pay the rest of his life back serving other people. But he saved my life when we were...
Yeah, I'm a PK kid, Pastor, because you have to learn to do that.
Yeah.
Well, for me, I think one of the first words that comes to my mind is enjoyment. We just enjoy each other. The first few years, I mean, we laughed so hard that we cried, and sometimes we cried and it ended up in laughter. At first, it was about the past because those are such formative years, whether it was in junior high, but we kind of came together at the age of 18, and there's such huge years in our lives. But I think the group quickly became much more about the present. Like within 5 years, it was much more about what's happening now, even though the old stories still have to come up from time to time. We do know each other. We change a lot, but there's a lot that doesn't change. And so that's what's been so helpful, is just we all go through stuff. We will go through stuff, and we all have, the highs and the lows. And in that commitment of just kind of being together, we've done life together in many ways. And so that's just what's helpful for me. And sometimes we walk away from here with joy or with hope or with courage that when we got off the airplane, it's like, no, that wasn't there, but now it is.
So I'm just really glad. I love you guys, and I'm so glad that you get to meet this group of friends. I would not have wanted to try to do the last couple of years without them. And the invitation today would just be to think about who are people in your life that are friends, or maybe that could be better friends. And how could you carve out some space once a month, once a week, once a year, whatever that looks like, to allow God to bring you together and change you in whatever He wants to change you and bring you joy. See you next time. Okay, that's it. Now I'm going to walk over and turn this off. Hopefully Tim will have edited it by now. By the way, the stuff on the wall is because we're very committed to agriculture and we work in the fields every time we get together.
And horror movies.